and this is more related to Chicago, and it's going to call into question really about how this will all play out in the state of Illinois. Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia, a known progressive independent who's been fighting for a lot of progressive policies and really has been a bastion for a lot of people to rally around.
I feel like we should disclaim that we worked on his mayoral campaign.
Yes. Okay. So real quick, early on, before I get into the story, myself, Daniel, and Paul, when we were part of the group TYT Chicago.
I wasn't at that time.
Paul, get out of here.
Okay.
Get out of frame. Go.
Well then, myself and Daniel, as well as former members of Wolfpack Illinois, TYT Chicago, we actually worked on Chuy Garcia's mayoral campaign. It was an aggressive campaign going up against Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Sadly, Chuy lost. Rahm Emanuel got in for a second term, but nonetheless, I think how things have played out so far, it's really good having Chuy Garcia as a congressman in the United States Congress. He is somebody who actually has really, he voted against Trump's war budget that recently was passed.
He's been doing good.
Yeah, so he's been doing good. Of course, there's a lot of questionable things, especially in regards to how he's kind of worked alongside Madigan here and there, but that's nonetheless what Chuy Garcia has done right now.
We were slightly worried about who he was going to endorse.
But but he has followed through with endorsing Senator Bernie Sanders. So Illinois congressional representative Jesus Chuy Garcia endorses Senator Bernie Sanders. And to be very clear, in 2018, Senator Bernie Sanders not only endorsed Chuy Garcia's run during the 2018 midterm election cycle, but he also endorsed 4 other people that were working with Chuy Garcia that were working on state level and county level district areas, and they were all those 5 individuals not only were endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders, but also endorsed by Our Revolution Illinois. And so this was a very important race, and I'm really glad to see that Chuy Garcia is returning that endorsement back to Bernie Sanders. He did the same thing in 2016. And it does call into question on how many other elected officials in the state, and it's not saying much, but how many other elected officials in the state will follow Chuy Garcia's example and endorse Senator Bernie Sanders. Illinois, during the general election, is one of those key electoral college states, but also it's an important state to win in the Democratic primary. It's the center of the Midwest. You have Chicago, a major metropolitan city. But Illinois does have a shady history in regards for election integrity. There's nothing right now I think we can do about it, but if Bernie Sanders remains as aggressive as he is right now and is able to dominate the field, I don't think he'll convince the Illinois Democratic machine, because that's a whole there's a Democratic machine and then there's the Illinois Democratic machine. 2 different animals altogether. Could Bernie Sanders gain momentum for their support? Maybe, but remember, these guys have a shady history, and I'm glad at least someone with integrity, real integrity, a progressive integrity, Chuy Garcia, is endorsing Bernie Sanders. Guys, real short enough, because I know we're short on time. Daniel, just give me your thoughts on this. Paul, your thoughts on this.
This is really good. So Chuy is very important. He's a very powerful figure in Chicago politics and Illinois politics in general.
Yeah.
Again, we filmed when that endorsement happened. Sanders endorsed him. That's a good
we have
video.
a
You
whole
can check that out.
Footage, after the show.
Yeah. So, and we've interviewed Chuy a few times. So we have a lot of stuff you can look at him. He's actually quite decent, especially for Chicago standards. So
Illinois
this is this is a really big deal. Chuy doing this and starting this chain can very much open up all of Illinois to Bernie Sanders. Now, originally, Warren would have been seen as a relevant competitor here. Bloomberg as well. Pete probably not. Klobuchar probably not. Biden is be irrelevant by then. So it's very important that this endorsement happens now. Bernie is just destroying it in terms of leading with the Latino vote, and so I think that kind of factors into this. But having Chuy's endorsement, because if Chuy says something is good to do, he has a lot of people underneath him that are in local office that'll go, okay, that's what we're going to do as well, and then they're going to whip votes into shape, I guess. That's really good. This endorsement really will affect, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20,000 votes. I mean, just in terms of the effect and in terms of where mobilization happens at and in terms of perception, Chuy Garcia is a real big deal here. So I'm glad that he's doing this. Illinois is obviously farther in the campaign process than it usually is. It's usually much sooner.
Yeah, where March 17th is when our primary is going to happen, the day after St. Patty's Day. So
but this is good. Chuy doing this will probably push other things into place. I'm sure Madigan is real upset that Shuey made this choice, but the fact that Shuey made this choice means that he is very confident in Sanders. Because if you
I don't think he's upset, Madigan. I don't think he.
no,
Really cares.
Madigan is very upset about this. There's no way Madigan's
I
like,
don't
oh
know.
yeah, the guy that's anti-corruption that wants to take people that are in machines and take them apart. I love that. No, he's like, no, this is. I'm like the Madigan. By the way, for those of you that really don't know Illinois politics, is basically like the last remaining old school machine Democrat that's just been in power.
He's
for
also part of the
decades,
Democrat. He's
decades.
also the Democratic leader in the state of Illinois
Super
too. So he's the
powerful
Speaker of the
person.
House, as well as the leader of the Illinois Democratic Party. Paul, your comment.
I don't have a lot to add. I like Chewy all right. This seems like a political move, right?
Yeah.
At this point, an endorsement is like, well, kind of waited until after some states already started voting and until like almost all of the debates are completely done. And yeah, like the smart money has it on, the overwhelming likelihood is that Bernie will win a plurality of the votes. So even if it goes to a contested convention, I mean, it's politically expedient. I mean, it's the thing I talk about, voting for the person you think is
Yeah.
going to win and not
By
on
the
your
way,
conviction.
Paul-
And so I don't know what his convictions are, right?
I'll tell you this,
Tells me
Paul,
nothing.
On a contested convention, Shuey Garcia in a very Democratic party is worth 10,000 votes.
It's true.
Yeah.
So Bernie Sanders just got 10,000 votes, folks.
Yep. And he also went on to state that I am proud to support he went on to say this, that he's happy to and proud to endorse Senator Bernie Sanders. I stand with Bernie Sanders because we need a president who is consistent, who has the courage to pursue real change, and who will always choose the people over political gain or expediency. So that's congressional representative Jesus Chuy Garcia and his endorsement for Senator Bernie Sanders. Also, the article points out, too, that Sanders also endorsed Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx in her Illinois March primary battle as well. Illinois is going to be a very interesting race, and we invite all the presidential candidates, Bernie Sanders, to come
Everyone.
onto our show. All of them. Yeah.
Everyone. We'll
So
take
please,
Bloomberg, we'll take Biden, we'll take everyone. And we will ask them, even though we have opinions of them, we will still ask them professional questions.
yep,
So
we're
we do
looking
it.
forward to it. But now we
I
got to,
can't imagine Bloomberg coming over here.
you know what?
You know what we can just say? We'll just put up a mirror and be like, Bloomberg, knock your heart out.
Yeah, go ahead.